Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tin Man's Cool Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'll be reacting to my third and final scary story teller channel for you all. And this one is Nightmare Files. And the video I'll be watching is 4 Scary True Horror Stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera back up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go. Nightmare Files.
When I was 11 years old, I spent the night hanging out with my closest friend at the time.
Okay.
I left around 7 o'clock. He was about 15 to 20 minute walk away from my house. It was the month of December, so it was icy and dark outside. While I was walking down the long sidewalk, I had to make a turn halfway. Across the turn down the sidewalk, I noticed a man way further down. He was alone at the moment. 10 seconds later, a 4-door car drove up to him. It was a long street till my turn, so I watched him talk to whoever was in the car. It sped off, and he just stopped, watching me as I walked. As I kept walking, all I heard was, "Hey you, come here, stop, hey you." So I freaked out.
I mean, yeah, I would be freaking out too, because if I don't know the person, why do they keep saying, "Hey you, come here, stop"? I mean, that person was having a conversation with somebody else, and then once you walk by, they had to try to get your attention. It's very creepy.
I started walking faster and then noticed he started running toward me. I started running for my life. Since the ground was covered in snow and ice, all I literally thought was, "Please, God, don't let me slip." I was crying, and I was running. He caught up extremely fast. I kept looking back and noticed the car slowly driving behind him. As I ran, I felt his arm reach out and try to grab the hood of my sweatshirt. By God's grace, his hand slipped, and I ran a block trying to find a house with the lights on. I finally found one and banged at the door, almost ready to break it down. This older couple finally answered, and I ran inside explaining what happened. The husband then went outside to try to find him. When he went out, he saw the man standing at the end of the street staring at him. Then he ran off. My mom called the police and pulled me out of school for 4 days afterward. And this guy was never found. For a while after, I would buy flowers and a card and leave it on the couple's step, thanking them for saving my life. God only knows what would have happened if he got me and dragged me to the car.
You probably would have been kidnapped and never seen again. That just shows you right there that that person was a mean child kidnapper. But once he saw that you got inside the couple's house and staring face to face with the owner, he just said, "I'll forget this," and left. But I ought to blame your mom for pulling you out of school for 4 days, because that is really traumatizing. Dadgummit, I wished he was caught, because he don't need to be out on the street. Anyway, let's get to story number 2, shall we?
One day, I got a call from a few friends of mine about going to the mall. It was a stressful week at work, so I thought some retail therapy would definitely help.
For sure.
We ended up shopping for a few hours, so we decided that hitting the food court would be the spot. I gave the girls my order, and I told them I would come back and find them as I needed them after I used the restroom. The restrooms are at the end of the large and wide corridor. They were your typical mall type with lots of stalls. Anyway, so I sat down to use the bathroom, and I could see from the gap on the floor between the wall of the stall and the floor, lots of movement from someone's shadow. I wasn't sure if they were getting changed or not, so I didn't pay attention at first, but it felt like the shadow was coming from above at some points. You know, as if the light above was being obstructed by something. After maybe the third time, I decided to look up, and I could see a phone and parts of a guy's arm leaning over. Someone was taking photos of me. I instantly shouted out, "What are you doing, you pervert?" And in a moment of sheer shock and disbelief, this all very quickly turned into fear as I got up and leaped out of the stall and was greeted by an empty bathroom. Not one person was in sight, and from the quick glance of the mirrors opposite, there was only one stall shut, and it was the one next to me. I ran for the restroom exit, but it was locked. Luckily, it had a twist lock and I could turn it as I did. I heard the stall open from behind me. I got out immediately and turned as I exited and noticed a sign on the door saying, "Closed for maintenance."
Typical. You can't even go into a darn bathroom in a mall or anywhere else nowadays without worrying about people taking photos of you. That person is a pervert. But I guarantee he must have put up a closed for maintenance sign and when he got in, locked the door just so nobody else would wander in. I guarantee it.
This sign was not here when I went in. I screamed some more, shouting to get anyone's attention as I ran down the corridor toward the food hall, and had obviously caught the attention of a few people. A group of 3 guys stopped me and clearly could see the panic in my eyes. They asked me questions and I explained. 2 guys ran toward the ladies' restroom, and one to find security. Security arrived within seconds. After a while, a rather large crowd had gathered due to the commotion, and although I was in the comfort of my friends, security, and now the police, I never felt so alone. Security and police, nor 2 guys found anyone. There was a few staff only, and fire exit doors opened down the corridor, so plenty of escape routes for whoever this guy was. I gave my statements down at the station later that day once my parents showed up. The police said they had security tapes from the cameras that point down the corridor and will keep us updated with any news. Hopefully, they find this guy.
I mean, I hope they do find that guy because that'd be kind of disturbing if he got good pictures and try to post them online or other sickos like him to enjoy, if you know what I mean. Making me sick to my stomach. They even, a bunch of guys went to go find him, and lo and behold, he's gone. Of course, he would try to use the fire exit or employees' entrance to get out quicker. But I'm just glad that this person won't physically attack by this other dude.
A month ago, I was at a pharmacy filling a prescription. I have central pain following a stroke I had in my early 20s. I can walk, but the brain damage causes severe burning in my entire body.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Due to this, I'm on morphine and seen by a specialist at a well-known hospital. I dropped off my prescription and I waited. I noticed a guy behind me, standing way too close. He could hear everything we said. I sat down and tested my blood pressure. I noticed him walking around in the aisles by me. I thought he was just waiting too. They called my name 20 minutes later. I didn't see him while leaving the store. I looked in my car and I got in, locking my doors immediately due to paranoia watching scary movies, I guess. I stopped at the first stop sign, and out from behind the tree, it jumps the same guy. In one motion, he was out from behind the tree and was grabbing my passenger side door handle, but it was locked. He seemed as shocked as I was and looked like he was grabbing for a back passenger door. I started screaming and I put my hand on my horn and sped away. Other cars were also honking. I saw him run, so I drove until I saw a cop car sitting at Carl's Jr. and ran in. He took my info and drove to the stop sign and asked me to follow him. I couldn't see him anymore. The police officer said it happened last week with an elderly lady, so he needed to find him. I was really, really lucky, but always locked the door.
Yeah, that is kind of scary, and he should be glad he's lucky. Because if this guy was just stalking other random people, especially elderly, he don't need to be out there in that parking lot at all. Hopefully the cop does find him because it just seems like that dude wanted to open up their doors and probably rob them of their cash or take their vehicle. I don't know. But that's just wrong. But thank God he found a cop and got him to come back with him to go find that son of a gun. And hopefully they do.
So I'm a nurse, and I was driving home from work one night. The roads were deserted, and it was freezing that night. I don't live far from work, maybe a couple of miles. I'm driving down a residential street around the corner from my house, and I see a man laying face down in the street. Once again, I'm a nurse, so my first thought was great. Gotta help this guy. I was coming off of a long shift and falls happen all the time. As I slowed down the car, I suddenly realized what an idiot move it was. I'm a 100-pound woman and I don't carry a weapon. I thought I should do something to help this guy, so I called 911 as I drove past him and slowed to a stop at the end of the block. While I was stopped at the light, I explained to the dispatcher that there was a man in the road who might need assistance. All of a sudden, I hear a loud bang, bang from the driver's side window. I screamed and I looked over. A man was pounding on my window and jiggling the handle of my locked door. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw that there was no man laying in the street anymore. Still on the phone with 911, I screamed, "I'm so scared," to the dispatcher and floored it through the red light. I quickly told him what had happened, and even though I was right by my house, he told me to keep driving. After a few minutes, I had calmed down and he told me to loop back around.
Yeah, that's good advice right there, because I knew that was too good to be true. Because you see somebody laying on the street, yes, they probably look like they might need help, but it might be just a trap for you to get out of your car, and then somebody will come out in the woods and pull a gun or a knife at you and demand you to hand over the keys to the car or cash, jewelry, or any other valuables. Thank God this person did the right thing and got out there and was on the phone with 911. And don't go back to your house just yet, because they will know where you live at. I guarantee you, once she loops around, they probably got out of there because they're mad their plan was foiled.
I pulled over down the road from my house and I stayed in the car. I didn't see the man anywhere, so I got off the phone with the dispatcher, who told me he was sending a police car to cruise the area. As I gather up my things and do a final scan of the area, and I see the man. He is walking with two other men. I hunched way down in my car until they were further down the road, then bolted into my house. I don't know if he had ill intent, but it freaks me the hell out that he wasn't alone. Just always, always lock your doors.
Yes, lock your doors. No matter what type of situation you're in. If somebody is literally trying to rob you or take your life, a locked door will go a long ways into preventing any tragedies from happening. I'm just glad this nurse trusted her gut and did not get out. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications for more Nightmare Files content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Square channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. I say that's a wrap, and have a nice day, y'all.